Almost a fable, but not quite.
There's a sort of element of the magical in this film.
I always imagined a bunch of young people, you know, kind of bristling with talent and mischief, trying to fill up their lives with something.
Fuck me, sound of music.
That which is best in Scotland is shown in the film, and I think you've really got the full contrast of what Scotland has to offer that is wonderful.
The film's about a group of people doing community service orders, and they're mainly young, and we focus on 4 in particular, and out of that we focus on 1, and you tell his story, and he's always had a troubled past.
My lord, the prospects of fatherhood have changed this young man, and he would grasp one last opportunity with both hands.
And he strikes up a friendship with the guy who's supervising the work they do, Harry.
Robert Emerson.
What name is it?
Robert Emerson.
Look, Robert, it's 8 o'clock sharp. It's not a taxi service, this.
The bus sailed right past me.
Look, I'm sorry, but there's a 15-minute cut-off. You're too late.
I've got to get my nails done, man, please.
My name in the film is Harry, and I'm part of the community service that takes we call them clients out to do the community work, you know. I think he's a half-decent chap.
Well, what are you doing here? You're not digging the trench. Nice and easy.
Like that.
Yeah, hey.
How's that?
I'll let it off that ladder in a minute. Behave yourself.
And he takes our hero, Robbie, who's been in trouble, sort of takes him under his wing.
Robbie.
Hi?
Your partner's gone into labour.
What?
Your partner's gone into labour.
So they strike up a friendship, and out of that, Robbie becomes quite expert in whiskey. He discovers he's got quite a good nose.
Fucking hell, Harry, man. Tastes like shit.
But also what I really liked was the idea that, you know, of a bunch of young people who've never tasted whiskey, their own national drink, who've probably never been out of the city, you know, having access or finding out about a new world. It's not a metaphor, but actually expanding their palate. And it's almost like because they've been given a chance, they are discovering a new world inside their own physique. And I kind of quite like that as an idea. And of course then the mischief starts.
You don't get it, do you? It's too late for you. I mean, look at the state of this place. Look at the state of your face, all fucking jib-mutt. No job, never have a job. Even the army wouldn't touch you with a barge pole. Can you not see? Leonie and Vincent would be far better off without you. Go on, beat it.
I mean, the big question is always, where do you put the camera? You know, where does the camera stand? So that you can draw the best out of what everyone's doing. Where do you put the camera and what lens do you use? And what do you try and cover within one shot is very important. You've got to have a basic plan for that. Nice day was in the cemetery.
Right, Harry.
The first half hour, I couldn't get my head straight. I had a plan, but the plan didn't work. So I had to, about half an hour, I was really struggling to get the sequence of shots.
You could have moved on too. I bet you could be working on that one.
And then suddenly it all fell into place. And the kids really pulled it through because they really caught the humour of it.
Hey, you stupid prick, you! Oh, consecrated ground. Show some respect.
When they were all lining up to be unwelcome guests in Harry's party, and so that little bit, I mean, they rescued me there.
Listen, I'm going to Edinburgh at the weekend. You fancy coming?
I know about Ken. His films were cracking because he's felt like you can relate to his films.
Knacking?
Well, it's a whiskey meeting.
It's all right, I'm into that.
Are you?
Aye.
I didn't realise how big and like he was, and
until I had to like Google him and see, like I was like, I need to find out. So that was exciting.
Yeah, all right.
Albert, Rhino, got Edinburgh at the weekend.
So although there's a comic surface to this, I think it taps into actually very, very important questions. How do we have a meaningful day in our lives? That's taken away from you and you face kind of, you know, a blandness and no sense of having to be able to earn your living and also to contribute. I think that's a very, very important thing that we need. If someone took work away from me, I think I'd be in trouble, to be honest.
That's the world my generation has created for them to come into. That's shocking, really.
Ken just comes and he sort of nudges and winks and just pulls little bits out of actors now and again. You know, he don't make a big thing about everything. He just says, you know, say it as you would, you know.
He'll tell you to read the script, try and do it with a script, but if you need to add any of your own words and you feel you need to change something, then by all means give me your opinion on that. And he's, I'll be honest, he's absolutely superb that way.
Is everything all right with Luke and Leone?
Great, just fucking perfect. Fucking perfect, Harry.
Well, we've got a cracking script. Paul obviously has written a belting script, but he lets you embroider it a little bit, and this is like people who have confidence in what they're doing, you know. It's a treat for anybody, you know. I feel so lucky to be working with him. Yeah. Oh, never mind. Maybe next time, eh?
Ken's way of filming is, you know, you won't find it anywhere else. Well, I've never experienced it anywhere else, you know. You don't get the scripts. You don't know what's happening the next day, you know, you don't know your lines the next day. But it's a nice way to work, you know, it's totally different, it keeps you on your toes.
You don't need to know everything to be able to play a scene, you know. You don't carry around with you all the time the knowledge of who you are. In acting, I think, in a thing like this, you just need, you know, enough to go on.
Who's got a sensitive nose?
I'll do it.
It just creates moments, you know, moments of magic, I think. You know, I really enjoy it. And it feels as though you're there in the moment, you know.
Just get your head in there and have a good sniff. We don't really know what's happening. We don't know the story. We don't even know what the film's about. We just know wee bits of it from what we've done like the past few weeks.
We know we're going to Edinburgh for some kind of whisky conference, whisky meeting, but I'm afraid that's about it. No scripts, no nothing.
What is that? It's Edinburgh Castle, Albert. Is it?
And it's priceless, you can hardly imagine how much it would be.
I got a call out of the blue January last year from the production company saying we're making a film which was likely to feature whiskey quite strongly. And then the script arrived. I'm one of the very few people to have seen the whole script. And I again gave them my halfpenny worth on little changes that I might in relation to whiskey. Rebecca phoned up and said, well, thank you very much indeed. Would you like the role of Rory, whatever his name is?
The final game, a surprise blind tasting for which I need 4 volunteers.
And I said, well, but I'm not an actor. And she said, well, that's the point. You know, you just have to play yourselves.
Okay, 1 whiskey. Let me come round in front of you.
European oak sherry.
Thank you. Robbie? And I want you to try and describe it.
Right.
And possibly to guess which one it is.
A Cragganmore.
Well, you know, that's very interesting, because I was really swithering between those two myself. Choose one.
Glenfarclas.
Okay, well, I'll say Cragganmore.
There can be great benefits, I can see from Ken's point of view, and indeed from ours, you know, that you find the right person to play the right character. If they can tap into who they are and what they know, then, you know, you're away.
Never judge a book by its cover, eh?
My background is basically like the way this story is, in terms of like being to prison, being like involved in fights, involved in gangs and stuff. Then, you know, I've been there, I've been to prison, and basically when I came out, I'd met a girl, and I've got a wee boy now who's 2, Leo, and it's basically, like, I've just been trying since I got out of prison to do nothing but work, help people in the situations that I've been in, you know, and get them out of that.
Well, when Paul Laverty was doing research for the film, he was introduced to Paul Brannigan, who was running a youth group.
And he said, you know, you should audition this guy. So we did.
You just lied to me. Look, you actually...
This wasn't planned. I didn't lie to you. They just appeared at the door. I was in a bit of a pissed off mood this morning. I'm like this every day. I'm pissed off every day.
I've taken so much stick to be with you. All my friends and all my family have told me to get rid of you, and I didn't because I didn't listen to them, I didn't believe them, but right now, do you know what?
It's great. I mean, you know, Ken uses actors and non-actors and what have you, but they do extensive like auditions, you know, and he knows what he wants. And I mean, some of the lads I've worked with him before in the films, and but they're great. They're real characters, you know. And I think that's first and foremost what he looks for. Ken, he looks for character in people, characters that are suitable for the film, you know. And he certainly got it in spades in this one, I think.
I can't believe you're acting this way, Anders.
He's a marvellous boy. Really, I've got great respect for him. And I came across him because he's had a very difficult past, in many ways like Robbie in the film. And I met him when he was acting as a mentor on the Friday nights, you know, with a community group. But I was really struck by how the respect they had for him and the respect that he had for them because he understood them.
Paul Laverty came and spoke to me one time, asked me a wee bit about my life, spoke to me some questions, and then he phoned me a couple of months after it and asked could I meet him and Ken, which was really exciting.
It was a big jump to imagine you could play the main part, you know, but you know, when the casting session came along, I was very keen that Paul came along and gave himself a chance. Yeah, but unfortunately, he never turned up for the first casting session.
I thought it was just to speak about my life again, and I thought, you know what, I'm not doing it anymore because I'd lost my job and I'd worked so hard for 3 years. I'd worked so hard telling my story, telling youths, telling young children in schools, stay off drugs, don't get involved in drink, don't get involved in gangs. And I lost my job, and how I lost my job was pretty bad. And I thought, do you know what, I'm not doing it anymore.
And so I had to trace him down and set up another one. And he was going through some difficult parts in his life, really, a difficult time in his life, I should say. And so he never turned up for the second one either.
And Paul Laverty phoned me and basically gave me a kick up the backside.
About how to get his backside into gear and give himself a chance. And he did come along, and he was marvellous.
I was actually thinking to myself, I'll get a £200 at this and a wee extra part then, it's a bonus.
Let's when our two friends here leave, and...
You've got to do best by the film. I mean, your first loyalty is to the film. And, you know, you can't cast anybody out of charity or out of... for any other reason except you think that on the day they're going to be the best person at making that character credible.
Look, I swear on your life and on mine, I'll never hurt another person as long as I live.
In the end, what made him quite special was that he was very good in the auditions. I mean, he was very credible, obviously, but in his performing he was very credible, and in his responses he was very true.
Okay, just be honest, I've seen every opportunity there just to get drunk, let off a bit of steam, you miss me. Okay?
Because of his experiences, he actually does have a real connection with his own emotions, which makes him a fine actor.
So we thought, well, give him a go.
The last day they sat us down and told me, you know, and it was just the only way I could really describe it. As I said to one of the other guys, is when my boy was born, you know, you get that euphoria, it's like a feeling you can't describe. That was a feeling I had when they told me I had the lead role, and it was amazing feeling. I scared myself, Harry. Not what I said, guys.
very much a matter of chance what happens afterwards. But certainly Paul and all the ones who are new to the business in this film could do really well. They may not, you know, who knows.
It's been great, innit? It's been really good.
It's been good. The film, I think that it always takes a wee week or two to get into the filming process. I mean, some of the guys who are doing it haven't done anything before. It maybe took them a while to get settled in, but the whole gang's kind of gelled now. Everybody's enjoying it now.
Oh, everybody's getting on fantastic. We're really close as well. We got on brilliant.
The great thing was that they became a gang themselves, and they're very funny, and they did bond. They did bond, and they had a lot of laughs.
Can my meat and 2 veg are taking a hammer in here?
God.
Party, Sergeant.
Bob Blair Distillery. The Promised Land. Treasures in there, mate.
Oh, it was fantastic filming up at Belle Blair. It was so beautiful.
It's a very good place to shoot in, from that point of view, from the landscape. And it's funny, reviewers always talk about beautiful photography when they mean beautiful landscape.
I never take it for granted because it's a massive effort. I mean, it costs a fortune to get so many talented people to come along. And then today we've got over 100 extras, we've got Rolls Royces and Bentleys hired, we've got people coming from other parts of the world, you know, to make this scene work. And so I never take it for granted.
It's right at the back of the room now, £740,000. 760.
The auction was quite fun.
Good. So you'll be feeding you these, or whether you... Sorry? I think that's okay now. Yeah.
On the one hand, it's got to look like a real auction, so we thought we needed a real auctioneer.
New bidder right in the centre now at £800,000. The bid's at 800. So let's stop that again or not?
Yeah. It seems like a lot of days.
But also there's a narrative within the auction which you've got to get, which means you've got to tie it down and be specific. On the other hand, you want to keep it fluid so that it doesn't feel too staged.
That's good. Just take your time. Just play it a bit slowly and considered.
So that's the challenge, is to keep it sufficiently fluid that it seems spontaneous, but sufficiently precise that you get the outcome you want. I mean, you don't want someone else to buy it, you know, it would change the story.
Well done, everybody. If I don't get a chance to say it again, thanks very much for all your efforts during the day. You've been really concentrated, really hard, so well done. And a big round for the auctioneer who's kept us going.
I think we've done 4 films in the last 5 or 6 years, but we're trying to slow down a bit. But it's really difficult to stop.
I think you reach a point and it's what you do, you know. And I suppose the thing about directing films is it's physically quite demanding. You know, you've got to be on your feet sort of all day.
Ken's enthusiasm is unquenchable, but I think, you know, he's human, and, you know, the body tells you to slow down and the brain is just saying giddy up, and I think he needs to listen to his body. I think that, you know, it really takes it out of you making a film. It's very intense work.
I think Ken could go on for a very long time, really, but I don't know whether, you know, it's going to be a very personal choice for him for how long he wants to do it.
I wish Woody Allen had stopped. If he'd stopped, I think then it would be quits, you know. But don't want to be the first to give in, really. I hope people see it as just a little story, really, that is, you know, quite entertaining and maybe a little surprising, given the list of characters, and that they might see people like that in a different light after seeing the film. I hope they come out of it with a smile on their face.
Jesus Christ, what happened to you?
It's a long story, pal.
No, easy, eh? Got to get some cream on that, man.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the last couple of frames, really. You know, and I just hope it works. But I mean, we can't presume it will.
Thanks for giving me a chance.
Sometimes intention and execution don't always coincide.
Right, Toots, but I need a fucking drink, man. You're disgusting, you man. Don't you bother.
As long as people have an open mind, you know, that's what you want. People who come prepared to take the film to see what's there with an open mind.
It's actually tasty, by the way. Peaty and a wee bit lumpy.
I strongly hope the film becomes a special Scottish film, because I think it's a film that's all about all that's great in Scotland and all that's crap in Scotland. It's all muddled together.
So fingers crossed. Let's hope they like it.